Hello, today I will demo how to use the Camel Textual Route Debugging when playing test and camel routes. I will demo it inside VS Code for just to pick one ideas, but the same concept can be applied in other. In VS Code, you need to use the debug adapter for Apache Camel extension to have the debug capabilities available. So let's see the example that I'm using. So I'm using the camel main example, which is the one of the example inside camel examples official repository. I slightly adapted it. Let's go review what I adapted to make it working. So here is my route. What I changed is here to have something that I can trigger myself and which is not triggered automatically. I put a breakpoint here to investigate my route. So the next point is the test class needs to have several modifications. So you need to find a way to ensure that the debugger is attached in breakpoint state before the route is started. So here I'm simply using a thread.sleep. For now, you might want to increase the timeout in your conditions so to be sure that it will let you time to really debug and not failing and stopping everything before you have finished debug. You need to use GMX to return true, and here it's counterintuitive, but you need to set use debugger to false. By default, it is set to false, so you might need to not write it, but I really want to specify it because it might be counterintuitive. It is counterintuitive to use it, but in fact, it is referencing another kind of debugger, which is not compatible with the Camel Textual Debugger. You need to have a single test and a single route started when doing that. So in my example, to simplify, I simply disabled my other test, but you can also try to specify on your command line to launch a single test. You also need to modify the pom.xml because you need camel debug on the class path. So here I'm adding it based on a profile. So how do I start this extension, this test? So I have a VS Code task where I simply call mvn with the goal test, ensure that the profile that we added is enabled, and a bit more configuration. I won't enter into the details. You can pick it from the templates in completion. And then you also need a launch configuration, which is using the previously defined VS Code task and using the apache.camel debug configuration. So after that, you can go to your run and debug, click on start. It will compile everything and start the test. When the route is ready, the debugger is automatically attached. And when the breakpoint is it is jumping to it, and you can see the variables value. For instance, here there is no body. If you go to next point, we have the body set. And here we are. Now it's time to enjoy debugging your test.